First and foremost, I appreciate you checking in, and also how you doing today? Everything good with you?
I'm sorry. Hold on, I can't.
You good? You good?
Okay, say again.
No, I was just saying, I appreciate you checking in. Is everything good? How you feeling?
I'm good. Good. Life is good, man. Can't complain.
Absolutely. So, I'm relying. First off, I'm the youngest one of the booth, so I'm relying on my OGs here to kind of help me. I know who you are, but at the same time, I think one of the things that we start off with when we talk about draft night is the importance of that experience, everything that you went through or players went through. That sometimes the fans and the regular is not necessarily familiar with in terms of your draft experience and when you went into the league. What was that process like for you? Like, how did you process everything mentally, understanding that your life was about to change for the better, given that the work that you put in the football field from college, high school, and obviously everything underneath?
Well, I mean, so I think like you come at it from a couple of different directions. For me, it was I got drafted. Now it's time to prove that I deserve to be here and that I'm going to be the best in that position. I think sometimes like we set goals, and you'll see some players who go from college to the pros, but they don't make it because they've already in their mind said, "I've reached my goal." And you're not preparing for this is a new beginning. This is my new step of where I got to start all over again from the bottom and show them that I'm the best and that they got at least in my mind. I wanted to prove to them they had a bargain in getting me at the 12th pick in the first round.
So for you, I think as I've noticed over the years, man, you're continuously within the Commanders community, Redskins community, formerly Washington football team community. Like, you've always been around. You return to show love and things like that. What motivates you? I mean, it's a general question, but what motivates you in terms of what the organization means to you to keep coming back and showing love to the organization?
Well, so I have two boys, and I've seen them when they were young and how a football player who they looked up to show them respect and just how much you made a difference to them. And so sometimes, you look at yourself. I just played a game. I mean, in honesty, it was a game. But for someone else to get a chance to maybe meet me, maybe it means a lot to them. And so, what can I do but try to be a good person, at least in the community? Look, I ain't perfect. I got my ups and downs. But I just think that if we can plant a seed in somebody and show them a positive thing, then that's what it's all about. Because the very way I treat someone else, hopefully that's the way someone to treat my family, my kids, my wife, whatever. That's the kind of respect that I would hope that they would give them. So that's what I'm trying to do in return.
Hey Ken, I just wanted to ask you because I'm an OG fan. You were like my first favorite linebacker as a Redskin fan, but I wanted to ask you because you came from the Cardinals back in the day to sign with the Washington team with North Turner. What was the thought process or the decision maker process that made you choose Redskins at that time? Because we were a few years removed from the glory years at the time. So what made you choose Redskins at that time?
That's a good question. Well, one was look, they offered me a good contract, but but also, when I was with the Cardinals, we were in an area where we didn't get a lot of TV publicity. Not a lot of people knew who we were. We just came from St. Louis, a few years back, and like you said, the team came from the glory years, and so I wanted to be a contributor to a team with the glory years, but I also wanted to look at, this is a chance to show everyone who you are and what you can do. This was like a big media market. They had a lot of good names that I looked up to when I was playing ball, and so being here was like it's great. And then you saw the fan base, and you just like, man, these are some of the greatest fans ever. So it was a cool moment to be able to come here, and then being from Texas, and growing up a Cowboy fan to be able to play on the Washington and be
I
able to
like
beat
that
the
honesty.
Cowboys, it was good.
Hey, Ken, man, with it being draft day, coming out of Cal, you were a first round pick. You didn't wait too long, but did you and your team, as far as like your agent, did they expect you to go sooner or later? How was that process for you that particular day? Probably being back home in Texas. I don't know if they had people at the draft back then.
Right. It was a while back. They didn't have people at the draft, but it was. I was at a friend's house in California. Um, I wasn't sure. I didn't know where I was going to go. So I had before the draft, no one really knew who I was. I was at University of California, Berkeley. They weren't known as a powerhouse school. There were a lot of players who probably looking higher, but a lot of things went in my favor. Everyone was looking for the next LT, the first person taken in the draft was a linebacker. That's how bad people wanted linebackers. I had 3 postseason games that I was most valuable defensive player of. So that kind of boosted my stock. I did good in the combines. Still didn't really know how high I was going to go. I visited, I think, the Giants, and they told me I was too small to be a linebacker. So I think it was like people were surprised because I know when I got drafted, a lot of people were like, well, who's he? Who's this guy? Well, Cardinals, they made a mistake again and all that type of stuff. So my goal was just like, I'm going to show everybody that they got a bargain, and that's what I tried to prove.
So, Ken, we got one last question for you before we get up out of here. Two-parter. In terms of draft, are you personal preference? Are you a draft a guy with needs versus value or best player available, or are you either one, best player or needs, or and what's the second part? Who's your favorite prospect? I was trying to think of
Well,
who's your favorite prospect
I
coming
think
up.
it's more like you look for what you need. Like you gotta, if you believe in your coaching staff, then you're gonna go for what you need, and you can develop players into becoming great players. A lot of times you go and say, I'm going to get the best player available, and the best player available may be good, but he may not fit your team. It may not be a good fit for your team. Good teams scout players and understand this person can add value. We may need to coach him, or we may need to do a little adjustment, but he can add value. There's a lot of times people have talent, but it's just for that one thing. And if you don't need it, then you've wasted a draft pick. You've kind of ruined a player's career, and it's a bust the whole way. So I think it's more finding the player that really fits a need, and then you're working with that player to fill that little slot in there.
All right, again, man, I appreciate you checking in. And look, continue doing what you're doing with the area, the community, man. It's best. Definitely appreciate seeing your face around.
Yeah, Ken's been doing some amazing things in the community since I was a little kid, man. I definitely look up to you.
Well, thank you. That just means I'm old now, right?
Nah, I mean you an OG, you respect
I'm
it.
about to say.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
All right, yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Take care. All right. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and get the game.
Damn, set, hut, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.